and Clark getting to start for the Red Storm. And for the Knights, it'll be Allen, DeJesus, McSpadden, Davis, and the big guy Taco Fall. Fall and Clark to jump it up, and no shocker, UCF controls. The Knights in the white and St. John's wearing the navy.
Last year, oh, there it is. That's what we're talking about, John.
Levette, I mean, right into the passing lane to steal, and he read that perfectly.
St. John's forces 19 turnovers a game. Marcus Levette, early in the season, I've seen 3 great on-ball defenders this year, including Kyrie Thomas of Creighton, Javon Carter of West Virginia, and this guy Levette. He is a handful defensively.
Rebound pulled down there by Simon, the Arizona transfer. Clark will try and hit. Marvin Clark off to a phenomenal start from the three-point line.
That puts him up over 60%. You will love the way St. John's plays half-court defense now.
There they go, offensive foul, and they get that one on Taco Fall.
Watch this anticipation by Marcus Levette. He has been an absolute nuisance to opponents in this tournament. Something St. John's expected, a lot of zone to keep those guards from driving, 2-3 zone, with Taco Fall in the middle for Johnny Dawkins.
A pretty skilled St. John's team. I mean, they should most nights be able to score it. And there's a travel.
I've talked to you, and I actually talked to the coaching staff of St. John's. I told Chris Mullen, as you see him there, one of the all-time great St. John's players, Hall of Famer. They play so hard, they almost play too hard on offense because they drive it, they're competitive. When they miss a shot, they want to get the ball back. They reach in and foul the rebounder or try to steal it. But the effort is definitely there. It just needs to be channeled.
And another steal there by Levette. Give off Simon, gets it taken right back away by Davis. And then St. John's fouls there.
Yep, and that's kind of what we're talking about. So frenetic on offense. You know, it's really hard to be so frenetic defensively, John, and cool, calm, and collected on offense. And that's where St. John's is trying to get right now. You don't want to keep these guards under wrap offensively, but they just got to be a little more judicious with your decisions.
Toss inside, Fall couldn't handle. Now regathers, gets his shot blocked. I think it was Simon coming in for the rejection. Ahmed goes inside, left hand off the window. Nice move.
He's, I'll tell you what, very underrated player, Ahmed. Young man who took the long way back to St. John's.
Yeah, from the Bronx, prep school, and then junior college.
Absolutely, Hutchinson, Kansas.
That's one of the better JUCO programs out there.
Absolutely, Blue Dragons, 38 miles north of Wichita.
Clark hits another. Marvin Clark, the second, knocks it down. And it is and getting the offense rolling.
Well, we mentioned Simon, the transfer from Arizona. He and Clark, the Michigan State transfer, practiced last season. There was a lot of anticipation about their return. And you can see right off the bat how much of an effect they have on the game.
And it traveled. So turnovers have been a problem for Johnny Dawkins' team. They had 27 against West Virginia. Dawkins in his second season. They won 24 games last year. It was a brilliant year. Got to the NIT. Here so far, 4 turnovers in their first 7 possessions.
Well, they've had bad luck too, John. Their starting backcourt is out. BJ Taylor, all-league player, out till end of December. And Aubrey Dawkins, the coach's son, out for the season.
Feed inside, knocked out of the hands of Chad Brown. And that'll be UCF basketball. 20 on the shot clock. 10-0 St. John's. And there is BJ Taylor. Broke his foot in the second half of their opening game, and they're hoping late December in that range.
Yes, and considered the best point guard in the American Conference by the coaches to start the year. And I don't care who you are, you lose your starting backcourt. And you know, you say, how good are they? I don't know if either is an NBA player, but they're definitely G League level players. And so,
talking about Aubrey Dawkins as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about two high-level college players, and I really think UCF would have been a top 20 type team with those two guys in the lineup. They still can be very good when Taylor comes back.
Well, there's Johnny's son, the Michigan transfer. He tore his labrum, and in that sling, tore it going after a loose ball, and he's done for the year. Clark rebounding the miss, and St. John's still pitching the shutout.
Little pressure here by the Knights. Token. 2-2-1 press. Back to man-to-man. These guards are always looking to get a piece of the paint off the dribble.
And Ponce gets bumped by DeJesus. Shamari Ponce coming off a career-high 31. He had 26 in their opening win against Oregon State.
Think about the history of St. John's. He scored the most points as a freshman in the history of that program.
And that'll go the other way. I mean, that's saying something. Absolutely. With all the great players they've had.
That's right. And the other key thing for him was staying home. You know, young man from Brooklyn, Thomas Jefferson High School, and the trust to try to help Chris Mullen build this program back. For St. John's for many years had great New York players.
Bashir Ahmed going to the bench with 2 fouls, and that's worth monitoring just because St. John's overall kind of thin, and more so today with Brian Trimble fighting the flu, and likely not playing inside of the foul. Our under 16 timeout.
Been outstanding in this tournament. And of course, the focus was on Michael before he got hurt. But Jonte just turned 18, John, last week. And then West Virginia got back on track with that rout of this Central Florida team.
Forced 27 turnovers. And West Virginia looked really good. Some pressure here from UCF.
Almost designed to slow the game down.
Right.
20 on the shot clock, 2-3 zone. So St. John's has to get into the zone attack very quickly.
Ponce, Levette. And that one off the mark. Loose ball, and that's tracked down by Dayon Griffin. Out of bounds, DeJesus loses that. In St. John's loss against Missouri, Ponce played 38, Simon played 39 minutes, and Marcus Levette played all 40.
Luckily for them, this tournament's set up to have the day off after the semifinals, so they got to catch their breath a little bit yesterday. Saw a couple St. John staff members shopping late last night out at the Outlet Mall.
You get me anything?
I did not. It's early. It's early. We've got 3 or 4 more weeks before Christmas. But for the man who has everything.
That's from deep. Ponce can't hit. And Fall pulls down the board. Let's see if UCF can find some type of a rhythm offensively. Feed inside to Fall. Harassed. Loose ball.
And quick hands by Ponce that time. Fall had no chance.
And a turnover.
Yep. That's part of the issue sometimes. You talk about it, St. John's plays really hard. But on offense, sometimes it can be too frenetic. And It's a matter of learning that. They're a much better team than the team that we saw a year ago go 14-19. I think they're going to be a nuisance in the Big East.
Yeah, won 7 games in the Big East. Out of bounds, it stays with UCF.
You see that deflection out of bounds? It's not a steal. It won't show up as one, but it disrupts your offense. So deflections aren't just about turnovers, but that ball gets knocked out of bounds, 17 on the clock, and it takes you out of your offensive rhythm. And that's what Marcus Levette does for you.
No hesitation. Flip shot wouldn't go. Griffin misses with the follow, and then McSpadden, nice look underneath, and able to find Griffin for the bucket.
I think zoning St. John's is the right way to play them, and I think they're going to see a lot of that this year, primarily because you can't allow those guards to just drive man-to-man defenses.
Owens lost the handle, lost the ball. That's a turnover. Griffin up ahead, lays it in, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. Timeout St. John's.
Tournament, and Joel Berry, what we've seen John since he's returned, expected to have an All-American type year. Already has a national title under his belt as a junior. And that backcourt been really solid for Roy. And the question for St. John's is who can pass that ball. There you go.
Levette from the corner, and Marcus Levette averaging a little over 15 points a game.
You know what you like? St. John's had a plan out of the timeout versus the zone, and they freed Levette behind the defense with an easy look.
They get a foul inside. I think that'll be on, Tariq Owens.
Watch Levette sneak behind that zone. And A.J. Davis too late. See, that's out of a timeout. That's a set look. That is always a confidence builder for the coach with his players when you can set something up that works out of a timeout.
Loose ball, and they get the foul on Dayon Griffin.
UCF foul number 10, Dayon Griffin. His first, team third.
St. John's was bombed out of that game the other night by Missouri in the second half. Who just caught fire.
Yeah.
Wow. Knocking down threes.
Made shots down the stretch. Hey, speaking of threes, it's one of the things I worry about a little bit with UCF. I know it's still early, shooting only 24% from three, but they don't shoot a lot of them, and they miss a lot.
Yeah.
And to me, it's hard to find good college teams that don't make their fair share of threes, or at least that really stay away from it. I think it's a rarity.
Yeah, I agree because of, analytically now we know that jump shots, you're better off shooting three-point jump shots than two, obviously, because you get more points for them. And hard to score inside against everybody you play, but this guy can score. These two guards, John, Levette and Pons, they nearly mirror each other. Similar size, both lefties, both really good defensively. They play off each other really well.
3 seconds, and it'll go the other way. So it gets 1992.
Greatest team of all time ever assembled in basketball, I believe. And
how long have you known him?
I've known Chris since he was 14 years old. Because I knew his older brother Roddy played at Siena, and they were still a small college, not Division I. But Chris Mullen, 14 years old, Marine Park, when the older guys would be playing, looking for the 9th or 10th man. You'd say, let's take that 6'3" lefty, the young kid, because he had that bank shot down off the metal backboards without the nets, John. And then it wasn't long after that everybody knew about him. He was a prodigy, self-made player, great family in the Flatlands area of Brooklyn. Terrence played, his younger brother at St. John's.
Yeah, was a Zavarian player as well.
Mm-hmm. But you talk about one of the all-time great shooters and also the great IQ for the game.
Sure. Remember, we went out had shot something at the Maui Invitational a couple years ago, his first year as coach, and just videoed he and Mitch Richmond shooting. They went off the mark, fall the board. And I mean, they didn't take a warm-up shot and everything. It's good from here. Just making 3 after 3. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, you ever been around great shooters? That never goes away. It really doesn't.
And a kick ball. It was funny. Mike Morgan doing the game the other day, and a ball got into Chris's hands. And Mike commented on it, and I was totally with him. I've seen it where he gets the ball in his hands, and there's a part of him, the way he's reacting and handling the ball, it's like, I kind of want to shoot right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I bet he made millions of shots to get to the point where he became one of the all-time greatest shooters in the history of basketball, Larry.
Yeah, there's Levette again, so active.
There it is. Back in the heyday of the great Big East. And you know, the amazing thing about Chris is he's not a great athlete. You know, everything was based on fundamentals, technique, guile, IQ, and competitiveness.
But that ability to shoot is a gift. And I know he worked hard at it, but there's a certain, just God-given ability there, and he has it. Fall inside.
Rumor is he was over at the Magic facility on the day off yesterday getting some shots up. So, and by the way, I like his team. This is year 3. You saw him in Maui. I was out there with you. Year 1 wasn't pretty.
No.
Last year got a little prettier. And right now he's got a team that I think can compete in the Big East. It's interesting watching the big fella at the line, John, because we talked to Chris about this. He played with Manute Bol. And Manute named one of his sons after Chris Bol. So if anybody has a sensitivity to playing with a guy that's 7'6" and bigger, Manute was 7'6"3/4. It's Chris Mullin. Nicely done.
Overall, they've done a good job on Fall, I think, in terms of really being active, denying the entry passes, etc. Clark had it stripped away, loose ball, and that one comes our way.
One of the things they've done really well so far defensively, St. John's, is they've treated the man with the ball as the first the guy guarding the ball is the first post defender.
Right.
So he's pressuring the ball so hard, it's not an easy look even to throw it into somebody of Fall size.
Pod's floater. That won't go. McSpadden the board. Out of bounds. And it'll stay with UCF. St. John's leads 15-8.
You see the defense so far this year, obviously pretty good. But when Fall posts up, you've got to have great pressure on the ball so that the passer doesn't have an easy look inside. And St. John's has done that really well.
Jump stop Davis. And they get 3 seconds again. Wow.
Yeah, Fall got stuck in there because Davis wanted to find him, but the ball got deflected, and Fall never got out of the lane.
They haven't been able to get the ball in his hands. He's only got 4 touches in 19 possessions. And by the way, Amar Alibegovic has checked into the game, the senior from Italy, wearing number 10. They got some foul trouble issues right now, St. John's. Kick out, Levette. And a rebound, Davis. De Jesus.
That's just a freshman mistake right there. De Jesus just ran the defender over. And we talked about what a great schoolyard type one-on-one player he is, but watch him. And I'll tell you, I don't think Ahmed was set, John. He slid there. He slid under. I know he took it in the chest, but it looked like he was sliding into that driver. But still, the freshman's got to have a little more savvy than that.
10 turnovers for UCF. Again, they had 27 the other night against West Virginia. Ali Begovic, he could shoot it and knocks it down.
He's the last guy from the Steve Lavin era that's on this roster. 4-year guy. Dad was an outstanding European player.
Spags cuts and lays it in.
Good drive off a fall. Nice dump down.
Shamari Pons has been quiet so far. And again, Shamari through the first 2 games here, he's got 57 points. Coming off a career high 31.
Double dribble.
Indeed.
Take a look at Big Taco now. He's going to catch, look middle. Surveys. Good cut by McSpadden. Well done. Fall's going to get a lot of attention from those perimeter defenders, and when your man turns his head, you just want to cut right behind him.
St. John's up by 8 as we close in on 8 to go here first half. And again, a reminder tonight, our championship from the Advocare Invitational, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN 2. So it'll be Missouri and West Virginia.
Watch the ball pressure on each catch.
Davis might have walked there. McSpadden off the window.
That is a perfect example of beings in the world. I mean, how do they research that? You know? In the notes.
Right. No. I know.
They
state that he's one of the 40 tallest.
I don't dispute it. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. Not everybody's checking in for their height measurement necessarily.
You don't see that many 7'6" guys at the DMV.
But the one thing that I would say is that, by and large, anybody that's running around that's 7 feet or taller, you're hearing about it.
Yes.
We'll start keeping count. Davis feed inside. Rejected Ali Begovic. Levette, left-handed scoop. That wouldn't go. And a rebound ripped down there. Ali Begovic comes flying in, knocks it out of bounds. It'll be UCF basketball.
Yeah, watch Ali Begovic. He gets this block. Starts to transition the other way. Good hustle.
Davis has been an interesting watch. A.J. Davis leads them in rebounding, leads them in assists as well, and he's their second leading scorer. Feed inside, and going to the line, it'll be Chad Brown.
That time a nice dish by Terrell Allen, the transfer.
Big Ten ACC Challenge is coming up on Wednesday at 7:30 as Michigan and North Carolina will get together, and then at 9:30 you have #1 Duke taking on Indiana.
I know where I'm going to be on Wednesday night on ESPN2. I'm going to be watching Miami play Minnesota. Those teams are both ranked in the top 15. They're likely to move up. And
how about the Minnesota game the other night?
It's the most bizarre thing I have ever seen, John. I was watching the game because Minnesota is next on my schedule. Then a fight breaks out. Then the entire Alabama bench gets ejected. Then a player fouls out. Then John Petty twists his ankles. In the last 11 minutes at that game, Alabama played 3-on-5. And the freshman Colin Sexton had 19 of his 40 points in the last 11 minutes. And now I got to tell you, Richard Pitino's got to work on the power play because they lost a 17-point lead. It got down to 3. So I wasn't impressed with the Gophers' power play. The late Herb Brooks would not have been happy. But one of the most
inside can't hit. I mean, bizarre.
One of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in basketball.
Pons behind the back, high arcing shot is an air ball. Yeah, I mean, the part of it that I found so amazing was that from the point where they were cut down to 3 players, they actually were plus.
Yes, they cut into the lead. They cut into the lead. And the sad part about it is the first 27 minutes of that game, Minnesota looked like a Final Four team. And they've got a guy, Jordan Murphy, 6'6" junior from San Antonio. He might be, now we know Miles Bridges is a lock lottery pick, but the most important player in that league, and maybe the best player so far, is Jordan Murphy, 22 and 12.
I got a chance to do a Providence game at Madison Square Garden, and coming into their first game at the 2K Classic, they had just lost at home against Minnesota. Murphy went off. Ed Cooley said, Jordan Murphy is the best player we have coached against while at Providence.
I'm going to tell you something. It's just starting to heat up how good he is. And even the experts aren't really talking about him yet, but they will. He's the most important player in the Big 12. In fact, if I were picking, I might take him before anybody else if we were choosing up sides on a playground.
St. John's with the timeout.
I like, you see.
I beg your pardon. No,
I think
not allowed to do that anymore, and so it's UCF basketball. By the way, want to update 2 fouls apiece for St. John's. Ahmed, Simon, Levette, and Owens. So that is worth monitoring. With Trimble out 6. Davis inside. Tip wouldn't go.
The Mets coming back in with 2 right now. So Chris Mullen just trying to monitor that situation. And the Knights are in a perfect position, John, after starting out down 10-0. St. John's has about 8 points in the last 13 minutes.
So it's Brown at the line. Rebounds and block shots for him.
You notice how the zone, those guards are so gifted, one-on-one players. You notice how the zone slows them down?
Sure. And you talked about just the intent of trying to keep it a lower octane game for UCF.
And even this pressure is not designed to steal it, it's designed to slow the game down. Good example right there. St. John's hasn't gotten into their zone offense, and it's 14 on the clock.
Pons from way deep. Simon the rebound. Nobody blocked out. That was too easy as Justin Simon, the Arizona transfer, came flying in for the putback.
Yeah, and remember, that's a shot that Johnny Dawkins will give up all day long. Pons came into today shooting 23% behind the arc, and he shoots a lot of them.
Kick out. Davis now. Pull-up jumper. That misses. And a rebound pulled down. Kick up ahead. Yakwe couldn't corral it. Not that the shot by Pons was well advised, but Fran, in the early going, this is completely anecdotal. Take one more check. But as far as how deep college players are shooting, I think that we're starting to see, again, a little bit of the mirror of what's happening in the NBA, where the range is moving out. You're starting to see college guys not toes on the stripe, but taking more threes from deeper.
Yeah, they're watching the NBA guys. The problem is that particular shot that Johnny Dawkins will live with Pons shooting. Watch, that's easy. Johnny Dawkins will live with Shamari Pons jacking that Steph Curry 3 all day long because he doesn't, frankly, shoot a high percentage. And he's not getting to the paint with his speed.
We'll get the foul on the side. That'll be on Dayon.
To not let him look inside easily.
St. John's basketball as the Red Storm lead it. They got off to a 10-0 start. But things have slowed down since, and dealing with some foul trouble. Pons flips it up. That wouldn't go. And Fall pulls down the rebound.
Fall did not have to come up and help on Pons' floater. He just stayed under the rim, put his hands up, and still was able to challenge. That's like a hurry in football right there, John. You don't get credit for the sack, but you get credit for the hurry.
Right. To the corner. Douglas can't hit, and that's tipped out of bounds, and it belongs to St. John's. It's our third place game still to come, the championship between Missouri and West Virginia. Johnny Dawkins' team won its opener and then lost to West Virginia. For St. John's, a win against Missouri, and then, or I should say, a win against Oregon State and a loss against Missouri. St. John's got up to the fast start, and there's a rejection by Fall. But the Red Storm, they've cooled off.
Unfortunately, Central Florida's not been able to, UCF's not been able to take advantage of it. There's another foul on Fall away from the ball. But watch him protect the rim. He goes straight up, gets all ball. I love the fact that Marvin Clark challenged him, because let's face it, if he gets the dunk, he's on SportsCenter, right?
Sure.
But good effort right there. Fall got all ball, but UCF can't really manage enough offense to take advantage of the shooting slump by St. John's.
Odds kicks across. Bashir Ahmed knocks down the jumper. He had 17 against Missouri.
Very underrated player. Plays with heart and soul. He can guard 3s, 4s, 5s. Shoots it with a high percentage, attacks off the dribble.
Clark has picked up his second. And so 5 different St. John's players with 2 fouls now. Our Week 12 Monday Night Football matchup takes us to Baltimore, as the Ravens and Texans will go at it. It's Monday, 8:15 Eastern Time on ESPN. Monday Night Countdown kicks off our coverage 6 Eastern on ESPN. Davis able to get that one. A.J. Davis, our top rebounder and assist guy.
Well, they've got Ahmed with a push off. Doug Sermons from the baseline thought he had the view and he had the call.
So Bashir Ahmed picks up his 3rd, and that is huge. And now Levette's going to have to check back in.
Watch Ahmed, watch his left arm. He comes up the floor. Boy, that was... He did it once, and then he did it a second time. And that time Sermon saw it.
Yeah, the second time is where Doug Sermon called it out. There's Davis, offensive rebound and a putback.
St. John's in a pickle right now because Levette's back with 2, so he's got to play conservatively.
Pons inside, left hand wouldn't go. And the rebound ripped down by Chad Brown. 2-point game. 90 seconds to go here in our first half.
Well, I would post Davis right now. I think they may try to do that because with the 2 fouls, Johnny's going into him. That's good. Oh, they switched.
Davis hangs, couldn't hit, but inside Brown could. And we are all tied up and a chance for UCF to take the lead.
That's pro coaching right there. They saw the mismatch. They set it up, but even on the switch, Ali Begovic now is going to have a problem with Davis. So Davis goes to work, and then Brown cleans it up. Good recognition by Coach Dawkins right there.
Chad Brown knocks it down. He's got 9, and UCF with the lead.
They've weathered the storm, no pun intended, John.
Or pun intended,
Yeah.
either way.
Okay.
A 7-0 run. Shamori Ponce, by the way, 0 for 7. And they go to the possession arrow. It'll stay with St. John.
This is where I said, you know, I love St. John's effort at the defensive end. By the way, they're only giving up 23 points. But they play too hard on offense. They get sped up too easily. They run good offensive sets, but they don't get to them all the time because these guards are so anxious to make a play.
Lovett. And that's not going to count. More good defense from UCF.
Now you got two choices here. You can milk this clock much of the 41 seconds left. And Levette's going to guard Allen, who's not a post-up player. But I would have tried to get something to where you can isolate Levette a little bit, see if he'll either play invisible defense or get him his third foul.
15-4 UCF run. Griffin a 3. And a rebound ripped down there by Simon. St. John's holding for the last shot, down by 1.
Back to the zone for UCF. Try to keep Pons and Levette from attacking into the paint.
Lovett. And that is the way the first half will end. And we get ready to go second half, and it's UCF basketball to start. 23-22. Knights on top. Terrell Allen controlling.
Remember, foul trouble in the first half for St. John's. Their ball pressure wasn't as good, and they allowed as good hustle right there.
Yeah, good job by Simon coming over the top to knock it out of bounds. 4 guys on St. John's have 2 fouls, and another with 3. Bashir Ahmed is the player with 3 fouls. And again, worth monitoring just because they only play 8, and one of their guys, Brian Trimble, is out with the flu. And they
just got Allen for holding on to Marcus Levette. Oh, that was Levette's third. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Levette charged with the foul, and that is big.
What makes it important is he's such a great on-the-ball defender that he's going to have to be a little more intelligent. Look at that. You can't reach in now if you got foul trouble.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the ball pressure outside to allow the ball to come in easily has slackened off because of those fouls.
St. John's moving the basketball. Simon, now Pons.
See, you cannot attack the zone from the outside in. It's got to go right to the middle, and then you got to find the open man.
Simon,
Yep.
Got it. That's big right there. Justin Simon. It was Clark Fran who made their first 2 3-point attempts of the game, and then they went cold against that zone.
Yes, they did. John, it's counterintuitive to think that you need great outside shooting, but it only comes from when you attack the paint and draw that defense in. See if St. John's can put together a couple of good possessions on that other end.
Fall lost the handle. Clark picks it up. Here comes St. John's. And a foul on Terrell Allen.
Take a look right here. St. John's spent a lot of the first half on the perimeter. But once you get the ball into the paint right there, look at the 4 defenders collapse a little bit. Now you move the ball. A little bit easier to get an open 3 that way. Well done by Justin Simon. Transfer from Arizona, who is a terrific all-around player, John.
Yeah, good defender. And
yeah, does a little bit of everything.
Mom ran track at UC Irvine. Dad played football at Fresno State.
Great kid. We coached him at the Steph Curry camp when he was going into his senior year. Really good addition here in Jamaica, Queens.
See the foul there. I think they just got Allen again. They did.
Terrell Allen should know this particular basketball court. He played here at the HB Fieldhouse when he was in a 9 and under tournament. His dad, Leroy, an excellent player at Hofstra. Talked to Terrell about it. So they lost to a team from Dallas that had a kid named Julius Randle on it, and 9 years old.
I would like to see 9-year-old Julius Randle.
I saw him in 5th grade. He was a big dude.
Jumper off the mark. Good. Rebound. Nope. And now it's knocked away, and it ends up with A.J. Davis. Davis a 3. And that misses everything. Pons on the move. Shamori Pons. And right there, Levette with a big triple. And St. John's by 3.
Good job of pushing that ball before the defense could get set up in the zone. So you love Marcus Levette's intensity, but you see he can't pressure as hard, John.
Yep.
Look how far away he is from the ball with 3 fouls.
Allen gets inside.
Part of that Gray squad from a year ago. They had 6 transfers sitting out. So they brought the energy every day in practice. He played his first year at Drexel.
Fall with a rejection on Simon. De Jesus inside. And Bashir Ahmed getting the rejection. St. John's waiting on some transfers as well. Here's another look at the block by Taco.
Good job. He doesn't have to leave his feet, obviously. He waits.
Yeah, that goes out of bounds. St. John's will get Mikey Dixon from Quinnipiac. And that'll be big for them next year.
He can really score. Watched him practice. Not heavily recruited at a high school, but he's wearing out that St. John's starting unit every day in practice.
Inside. And Fall with another rejection. That's his 3rd. Ahmed off the mark. Loose ball. Davis tracks it down.
He's got that. What did I call that before? There's the block shots and then there's the hurries, right? Good smart move by Taco. Called the timeout.
I think he took one in the far.
And St. John's shooting as a team 31%, and in large part because he's a volume scorer and hasn't gotten it going yet.
3-pointer. Tip wouldn't go. Davis offensive rebound, and he puts it in.
Yeah, but a good effort by Chad Brown as well to keep it alive. Good effort right now. St. John's small. And a man by UCF. They've done a good job of changing their defenses today.
Here's Clark. Hasn't really gotten involved since those early 3s. He almost turned it over. Jumper on the baseline. That misses everything. And UCF basketball. That looked like it went off the leg of Douglas, and it did. So a turnover. It'll be St. John's.
Bonds or Levette, they're going to just pick you from behind. And Got to be really wary of that. That'll be on every scouting report of every opponent St. John's plays this year.
Yeah, it's something that's not just attached to St. John's. Remember that Marist, West Virginia game started, and Parker's bringing the ball up the court. We were probably 30 seconds into the game, and you're going, don't spin, don't spin.
Javon Carter got him, didn't he?
And there's a rejection there by Tariq Owens.
9th block for the Johnnies.
That one thrown up ahead. What do we got?
I think they gave him a new shot clock because they said that UCF had possession of the ball when they threw it into the backcourt.
So St. John's down by 3, trying to get something going offensively, but it has been a struggle. Clark, and good work there by Chad Brown.
McSpadden's got to have his head up because he had a 3-on-2 right there. But all he was thinking about was getting to the basket. He could have created a 2-on-1 if he had just spread out and recognized the situation. Never has his head up. Take a look. Puts his head down right here. Not a great ball handler. Johnny Dawkins said, come on, my man, give it up.
See who they got that last one on. Tariq Owens. So Owens has picked up 3.
We're officially in the ugly category of a basketball game, John. We've seen so much high-octane offense this week.
Oh, man. Clark here. Yeah, he had the shot blocked, but he got fouled.
Davis thought he got all ball, but Doug Sermons had a pretty good angle on that. Clark went Euro step on AJ.
Teams have combined to shoot 21%. Oh, for 21 field goals, I beg your pardon.
This is ugly basketball.
Yeah.
And one of these teams is going to be 2-1 in this tournament.
And that's a big one. There's no doubt.
Yep.
What just happened there?
It's so easy to criticize these guys. You know, it's so easy to do it because they get about 96% of the calls right. It's the 4% we remember, but a lot of admiration. I got a lot more admiration for these officials now than I'm not coaching, of course, because I was a pain in the butt.
Oh, my God.
When I was. But
I mean, some of it has carried over into broadcasting as well.
No. I went to the Big 12 officiating camp a couple years ago, and I learned a lot about how hard the job is. I'll tell you that. Had a great time.
Toss inside. Brown rejected. I mean, Owens met him right there.
Well, he's one of the elite shot blockers in the Big East. Was a year ago to transfer from Tennessee.
They led the Big East in blocks. And Levette, no call.
Yep. Said the big man was vertical. More coaches are teaching that circle now. If you don't jump in that circle straight up, it's an automatic block. But if you leave your feet and stay vertical, it's a great defensive play. You were pointing out Roy Hibbert the other night, right?
That's the guy that I think of in terms of bigs that was so good at it. Shot rejected there.
St. John's, we talk about Taco Fall shot blocking, but St. John's in double figures right now as a team. Watch Tariq Owens. Going to send that stuff back.
St. John's last year, the top 2 guys in blocks in the Big East. Owens was number 1. Yakwe was number 2. See if they can get Pons going a little bit. Good hands there by Griffin as he knocks it out of bounds. 1-point game, 12-13 to go.
St. John's with 11 blocks and 11 field goals.
good. Lost the handle for a second and then turns it over. Davis reverses it, but it's short.
Play has been so bad. These teams are keeping each other in the game.
And Levette is rejected by Taco Fall. Oregon State trying to each get out of here with a win.
People forget West Virginia may be ranked, but 7 sophomores in the rotation. Very young team, minus those 2 senior guards for Bob Huggins, and they came awake the other night.
And there's the bank. It's open.
Yakwe.
Soon Yakwe with the bucket, and St. John's with the lead. A rare field goal. As they try and get it in. Fall. Trying to maneuver, and they got Kasum Yakwe with that foul. Do you remember on SportsCenter back in the day, they would run commercials, and Fred McGriff was in them for the Tom Amansky videos?
Yes, yes.
So the joke in baseball for this is that this will not be going into the Tom Amansky videos. That's
right.
The baseball version of this.
I get it completely.
Yeah.
I mean those Fran Fraschilla championship production
Right,
videotapes?
right,
Yeah.
there you go.
On half-court offense? Yeah, I got it.
And Fred McGriff looks at the camera, gives the thumbs up. Yeah, this is the basketball version, there's no doubt. From deep, off the mark, and Griffin not able to hit. Simon
really
speeding
struggling.
ahead, and he draws contact. He gets fouled. St. John's has only gone to the line twice today, and that foul on Taco Fall his third. But with Simon at the line, St. John's is 2 for 2 from the line. We talked about it, I guess, on Friday, but Northern Iowa playing Villanova in the championship game, and they didn't shoot a free throw.
They didn't shoot a free throw, and I watched the game, and I read what the comments were after the game, and the Northern Iowa guys said, Villanova is so fundamentally sound defensively, and of course, if you go to a Jay Wright practice, much like Bo Ryan and now Greg Gard at Wisconsin, they teach play defense without using your hands. And there's a perfect example of where St. John's can improve on the defensive end, John, because they use their hands way too much. I absolutely love their intensity, especially when they're not in foul trouble. But they tend to, they're averaging about 20 fouls a game. And that's too many.
And that shot rejected. Toss up ahead. Simon couldn't corral it. Oh, boy.
I've said this a couple times. You play 35 games, and you play 5 games during the season over your head. Everything goes right. There's 5 that you play that nothing can go right, and the other 25 is who your team is. Nothing's going right for both of these teams, and yet one of these teams is going to get an ugly win. That's the consolation of this particular game. But you don't want to lose a game like this as well, because both teams are keeping each other in it.
Inside, Fall. Offensive foul. And they get Taco Fall. I believe that's his 4th.
Well,
Indeed it is.
Yeah. And he's so tall that as he turns, let's see where the contact is. Watch him turn into Yakwe right now. You know what? It's a good call, and he's lucky that the contact took place at the shoulder. If you're going to create a cylinder for the defense to back off, then the offensive player can't invade the defender's space. So it's a ticky-tack rule, but it's a good application right there by the official.
Step in there, Griffin. And Griffin not able to finish. Now Clark back the other way. Toss up ahead, shot rejected. It is sloppy on both ends. Jumper from the side, fight for the loose ball. Clark tracks it down.
We've all covered some really good games this year. A lot of offense, scoring's up. This one is, as you said, John, it's not going to go into the archives.
No.
Good no call.
Lovett trying to draw the foul, and instead, after a loose ball, it ends up back with St. John's.
The decision-making reminds me of two teams playing a 24-hour marathon game.
Yeah.
Like, they're brain locked. They're ball slipping out of guys' hands. It's devolving. This game is devolving offensively.
And a foul inside on St. John's. 35-31, Red Storm leading the Knights.
Here comes foul number 11, Tariq Owens. That is his 4th.
Angela Vet drive it, hang in the air. Great hand control right there with the spin off the glass.
The last foul was on Tariq Owens, by the way. He's got 4 now. A.J. Davis, his dad, Antonio Davis, played in the NBA from 93 to 2006.
One of his teammates is wearing a red polo shirt, coaching St. John's, the Indiana Pacers.
Indeed, Chris Mullen and Antonio Davis together. Three points, St. John's advantage. Clark, that's a 3, and he gets another.
Tell you what, he's got good rhythm in his shooting motion, good follow through. He looks like a linebacker, but I like the deft touch. And early in the season, that's been a given for St. John's. This is three-point shooting.
He's 10 for 15 on the season from 3. Hans tried to thread the needle to the corner, and Clark for another 3. Instead, out of bounds.
How's that pass not get through there? You know, I mean, that's a pass Shamari's got to make. Open player in the corner.
St. John's on a 10-1 run, and they'll call timeout. 8-0.
Oh, is that right?
Piece.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the question, though, for tonight in that matchup. You ready?
Yeah. Yes.
This is the question.
Okay.
Who is Kenny White, the Duke AD, rooting for?
That's a that's a good question, man, because blood is thicker than water.
Yeah, man.
I think deep down he wouldn't be hurt if his son beats Duke.
No, I agree.
Because Duke's going to be prolific all season long. By the way, I've said this since September and October. I've had long talks with Michael White about his team, and I think they are the best team in the SEC. And I know they're talking about getting John Egbunu back after that ACL last January, but quite frankly, he's just a role player. They have so many good young players on that roster. They're going to be good for the next 3 or 4 years. Michael White is just an absolute star. By the way,
Allen handling here.
How about his other son, Danny, who's the AD at Central Florida? How about that football team?
Oh, boy. Out of bounds. It'll stay with St. John's. Yeah, indeed. And a thrilling win the other day.
Yep, they'll meet Memphis next week in the American Conference Football Championship.
Oh.
That's indicative of Shamari Pons' night right there. That shot.
We need to make sure we have that on the rollout. That kind of sums up what's happened today.
Yeah, so brilliant in his first 2 games. Almost 30 points a game.
Inside, Levesque can't hit, but rebound there by Yaqua, who kicks out. Levesque, a 3. That's off the mark. Simon, the rebound, and a putback, and with no fall, he's able to put it in.
That's the kind of effort that Justin Simon gives you. He doesn't need the basketball to be effective, and with these 2 guards, he's going to play off the ball a lot this year. Great hustle. Too much traffic, Chad Brown. You got to kick that ball out.
And a travel.
Yep. Excellent defense by the Johnnies. They swarm Chad Brown. And right now, an 8-point lead feels like it's like 16. But watch Justin Simon come into your picture on the backside. And then finishing at the rim.
Taco Fall about to come back in, and now they get a foul the other way, and that's going to be on Yakwe. And that'll be his 4th.
You know. By the way, John, talking about Shamari Pons, you see those prolific numbers, and then obviously today's not his day. But the one thing Chris Mullen has done with this team is you want to play offense with no fear and no conscience in terms of forgetting the last shot. He's just as apt to hit a big shot down the stretch of this game because he's going to keep shooting it.
Taco Fall back in the game with those 4 fouls. De Jesus can't hit. Pons, the rebound, has not scored. Shamori Pons inside. And I think they just got Taco Fall for his 5th. They did. He's done.
Yeah, this is an example of Pons throwing his body at the big fella. Didn't look like Taco moved very much, and that's what Johnny's saying. The guy drives into him. Johnny's not one to be overly, expressive, but he's trying to make the point right there that the big guy got penalized for being 7'6".
Well, I think that even the 4th, the one point that I was going to make back to you, that I don't know whether this is legit, but where he gets penalized for his height when he turns, because those arms and elbows are going into heads,
yes,
as opposed to chest.
Let's watch the drive here.
I think it's a good call.
Yeah, because what?
He moves. Well, that's not the angle, but he moves at him.
You think he does? Yeah. See, it was hard for me to tell. I thought he stayed as vertical as he possibly could for his size, but I know what you're saying. You thought he moved into him. Doug Sermon has made that call 100 times, but 100,000 times.
Davis gives off. De Jesus been quiet and scoops it up and in. Under 6 to go in this one. Ali Begovic short. And the rebound pulled down by De Jesus. And now a kick up ahead. Davis gets into the paint. And gets bumped there by Amar Alibegovic.
Both teams in the bonus, so AJ will shoot a 1-on-1.
They're shooting 1-1.
UCF shooting 25%. St. John's shooting 28%. Pons kicks out. Simon trying to find Ali Begovic. That was a bad choice. Up ahead. Feed inside. And Brown is going to go to the line.
Take a look at this block by Justin Simon. They wanted goaltending UCF. That ball hit the backboard.
Yeah, it did.
Yep. As long as any piece of that ball is at the rim.
Yeah, that's goaltending.
That's goaltending. Happened really quickly.
I'll tell you, it is rare that they miss that. You were talking about from a percentage standpoint, and you can look at it in all sports. I heard Jay Billis talking about this, but I do think the most crucial factor in shifting and seeing more instant replay, in my opinion, is this in all sports. With technology, the ability to diagnose the mistakes continues to improve. And
yes,
that's why you see so much more replay in these sports, because now you get to see every missed call, etc., highlighted.
Makes the officiating better, in my opinion. They get to study their own mistakes.
Yeah, they're not worse. You're just able to diagnose the mistakes more easily.
Yeah.
That's all. Absolutely. I think guys today work hard in all sports and are good.
From a human element, I always wanted the official to come by me and say, Coach, I might have missed that one.
Sure.
When they did that, it was hard for me to come back and argue with them.
Yes.
Because, you know what? We've seen bad basketball. There's probably been a little bad coaching today.
Right.
And I was good at that. And then there's always going to be calls that they miss.
Jesus, nice move.
Officiating is the only profession that you're supposed to start off perfect and improve from there. And that's not, that's where they have a thankless job.
Pond's jumper. That'll go, and he's on the board. His first field goal. 1 for 10 on the day. Pons does have 10 rebounds. He leads everybody in the game in rebounding. St. John's by 7. Their top scorer on the year, Shamori Pons. He's been quiet today, but nails the jumper there.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Advocare. To learn more about the comprehensive offering of nutritional products, go to advocare.com. And Gildan. Love your dad, but don't wear his underwear. Gildan. Every thread counts.
It was your dad who taught you the meaning of hard work. He taught you to roll up your sleeves and get at it. He taught you to take pride in a job well done. But don't wear your dad's underwear. Gildan is designed for comfort and durability for life in the 21st century. Step into your own. Your dad will be proud. The next generation of underwear. Gildan.
Make an entrance with Joseph A. Bank's weekend-only specials. All reserve sport coats $199, sports shirts 2 for $69, and wool sweaters 2 for $89. The weekend-only specials at Joseph A. Bank.
Lower back pain has met its match. Aleve Direct Therapy, the only remote-controlled TENS device that's drug-free, wire-free for deep penetrating lower back pain relief. Get Aleve Direct Therapy, now $10 off with a coupon at Walgreens.
Girl, I say, if only life would lean our way. Well, you and me, we'd run away to be wherever our adventure waits.
That moment when who you're going with is more important than where you're going. Wherever life takes us, we go together. Interwoven, exclusively at Kay, Jared, and Zales.
A blockbuster season continues with the PK80s.
College basketball season is back with a vengeance.
16 teams.
This is incredible.
24 games.
That gets my juices flowing, man.
2 brackets.
That is big time.
And now it all comes down to 2 championship games on one Sonic blockbuster night. The PK80 championship games tip tonight at 8:30 on ESPN.
It's a Phil Knight birthday bash. 4 teams, 2 championships, 1 time only. Let's celebrate PK80 tonight.
Well, tonight, after the PK80 at SportsCenter, 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific. That's after Duke, Florida. We wrap up your weekend with SportsCenter. Closer look at the marquee matchup of Week 12 between the Saints and the Rams. Focus on Tom Brady and then Duke's Marvin Bagley III. Headlines a packed slate of college basketball. So lots of stuff to get into. And they'll have it for you on SportsCenter.
We could build another HP Fieldhouse with all the bricks and the blocks today.
I hear you.
But how about 13 blocks? If you would have said before the game, John, which team was going to have 13 blocks?
Yeah.
The team with Taco Fall or the other team? Probably would have gone with a 7'6" friend who's sitting over there.
Fouled out earlier.
Yep.
St. John's with 3 players with 4 fouls. Levette, Yakwe, and Owens. Under 4 to go, 6-point St. John's advantage.
Bum.
I hear you.
But how about 13 blocks? If you would have said before the game, John, which team was going to have 13 blocks?
Yeah.
The team with Taco Fall or the other team? Probably would have gone with a 7'6" friend who's sitting over there.
Fouled out earlier.
Yep.
St. John's with 3 players with 4 fouls. Levette, Yakwe, and Owens. Under 4 to go, 6-point St. John's advantage.
One thing I've said time and time again since we've been down here is St. John's can really guard. They play really hard. They play a little too hard on offense, but just love the effort overall. You know what? When I watch St. John's, I watch their bench, a lot of enthusiasm. Their coaching staff, a lot of enthusiasm. Their defense, a lot of enthusiasm. And I'd much rather slow a team down than to check their pulse rate.
Sure, absolutely.
They have a pulse rate. They're going to get this ball in quickly.
They do. Pons short. Rebound Davis.
Now that was a low clock situation, so Shamari had to put that one up. 6 points seems like 12, doesn't it, John?
Indeed.
In a game like this.
Jesus looking for some space. Toss inside to Brown, and that rolls home.
And if I'm Johnny Dawkins, I'm just going to sit back in that zone, but I think they're going to stay man. They're going to keep changing their defenses. Don't want these 2 guards to get loose and get to the rim. Little hook. Did they get it? They got it. We could see it from here.
And Levette is done.
Man. Watch him try to skate by DeJesus. That's an easy call. And given the fact that UCF is in the bonus, why would you even have to do that? And that's kind of what I'm talking about on the offensive end. They play hard. They're just not cerebral yet in their decision making.
So Levette fouls out. Yakwe's got 4. Owens has 4. DeJesus inside. Now the kick out as they move the ball. And a huge 3 by Dayon Griffin.
Who's been in federal witness protection the last couple games. He needed to make that open shot.
That's their first 3 of the game. Remember, they made their first 3 of the game the other night with, 10 seconds to go in the game.
DeJesus almost lost that ball on his hip. He's got to be a good decision maker here.
Out of bounds, and it stays with UCF. 1:53 to go. And 11 on the shot clock. Well, they needed this.
Yeah, great drive by DeJesus. Got rid of it. Extra pass, and then the transfer from Louisiana Tech. Knocks it down. Griffin.
An 11-2 run.
And a low clock here.
Clock winding down. Davis got to go here. Davis spins, shoots. And the rebound pulled down by Bashir Ahmed.
Davis needed to recognize that earlier. Low clock. You got to attack right away.
St. John's calls timeout. 1:32 to K80. You got North Carolina, Michigan State, Duke, and Florida.
Yeah, we mentioned Jalen Hudson for the Gators. Marvin Bagley's been a monster out there at the PK80. He's got that Sky hook with that big claw, his left-hand jump hook. Little zone now. Low clock.
Shot clock winding down. Pond's got to go. Off balance. Wow. And he got bailed out on that floating jumper.
The one thing you don't want to do right there is don't foul a guy shooting in a low clock situation. Let's see right here. I think I think he got him, John. The official, Clyde Owens, is staring right at that play, and he has to be like an eagle. You don't think he hit him?
No.
Oh, I think he tapped him on there. I think he tapped him.
Timeout call. 3-point game.
Let's watch it. I don't have HD over here. I don't have HD watching these monitors.
Right.
Just don't go near the guy.
Yep.
Don't need a three. Plenty of time. Who's your go-to guy if you're UCF?
Just a good look. Yeah, who is it?
Pick and roll.
De Jesus rejected. Back to Griffin. Kicks to the corner.
Griffin needed to shoot it.
Loose ball. And a fight for it, and it's a shot clock violation.
Griffin needed to shoot the open three. He passed. If they make one and we get two at the other end, now it's a 2-point game.
Yep.
And we just trade.
Oh, deflection, and St. John's gets it back. Wow, UCF almost got the steal.
See, Johnny Dawkins is going to let this clock tick down. It's important that Central Florida, UCF, gets this rebound.
Feed inside, and it won't go. Got to hustle, and you need a three. De Jesus. Kick out, Griffin. Wow. And St. John's hangs on to win.